Today I want to start with functions, which is like a very huge field in mathematics. It's really important for Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, Calculus, and your life. Let's start it with like a basic by saying relations. So relations, it sounds like relationships. So there is a relation always between, let's say, x and y. So this is just simply in words. Let's say something from Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم صدق الله العظيم. That means the more you say thank God, the more you get. This is a relation between saying thank God and getting back something. Like let's say like whatever you do more, you get more. So the harder you work, the more grades you get. Or the harder you work, the less time you will need to review before the exam. So this is relation between two different variables. Let's say I want to go and buy some item from Carrefour. So the more items I buy, the more money I have to pay. So the bill is related to the number of items you buy. That means this is relation. This is function simply. The learning objective of today is how can I analyze graphs? And let's start with talking about a linear function or linear relationships. Then we will go for the graph of it. Then we will decide whether this is a linear relationship or non-linear. If you look at this table, you will see different values of x and different values of y. So let's say x starts with 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. That means I'm adding 3 every time. If you notice, 3 plus 3, 6, plus 3, 9, plus 3, 12. If you check the y values, you will find that it starts with 40. So 40, then 32, then 24, then 16. It's decreasing by 8. So 40 minus 8 is 32, minus 8 is 24, minus 8 is 16. This is a relation between x and y. Whenever you change x, y changes. So this is relation. But here, if you notice that x is changing with the same rate and y is also changing with the same rate. So x is changing by adding 3 every time and y is changing by subtracting 8 every time. We will call that relation linear relation or linear function. So the graph of it will be a line. If you look at the next graph, you will see that the graph is not a line. It's like two parts and they are curved. That means this relation between x and y is nonlinear. The graph here is not a straight line, so it's a nonlinear relation because it's like a curved line. What about this? Since the graph is a line, that means this is a linear relation. So here what you have to remember, the graph of linear functions is a straight line, whereas the graph of nonlinear functions is not a straight line. Does the relation represent a linear function or a nonlinear function? Let's start with question 1. It's your turn, you need to do it, but I will try to help you. Focus on x. So here x, we are increasing it by 7 every time. If you notice, 0, 7, 4, 14, 21. Then y here is decreasing from 25 till 20, then 15, then 10. What did you notice? So y is decreasing by 5. So I'll just solve the first one for you. So you have to write since x is increasing by 7 every time and y is decreasing by 5 every time, so it is a linear relation. That's all what you have to write for now. Do question 3 alone. Is this a linear relation or not? Think about it. Then what about questions 3 to 6? So question 3, I gave you here the values of x and y, so check about x and y. Are they increasing or decreasing with the same rate or not? If both of them are increasing or decreasing with the same rate, but it doesn't matter if x is increasing by 5 but y is increasing by 10. It doesn't matter, that's okay. But x is increasing with the same rate every time or not? Y is increasing or decreasing with the same rate? Now, domain and range. For any relation or any function, there is a domain and there is a range. The domain represents the x values, the possible values that x can take, whereas the range represents the possible values that y can take. I gave you here the values of x and y but in pairs, so I wrote all the numbers inside pairs and all the pairs inside braces. So these braces on the right and left represent the set, which is the pairs of the values of x and y. Instead of giving you it as a table like 5 and 7, 11 and 11, 17, 15, 23 and 19, I wrote it in another way by writing it in pairs. So don't be confused, this is as same as table. So here I gave you like 2, 10, this is a pair. So x is 2, y is 10. Always x is written first, then y. 3, 10, x is 3, y is 10. 4, 20, 4 is x, 20 is y. 5, 30, 6, 40. So here I will ask you, what do you think the domain is? Again, the domain represents the values of x, whereas the range represents the value of y. So here it's obvious that you can pick up the first numbers of each pair. So the domain here is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The range is 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. While writing the range, either you repeat the number 10 or you just write it once, and that's fine. So here you can represent the domain values as a set between braces. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The range is the y values. Pick up the second numbers. So I have 10, 10, 20, 30, and 40. So the range is the y values, and the domain is representing here x values. So it's always like that. So here, another example for you. Find the domain and the range for the function. Here I represented the function as pairs instead of giving you x values and y values in a table, which is fine. So just pick up the first numbers of each pair to find the domain. So the domain here is -5, 0, 5, 10, and 15. Remember, you need to write them as a set because it's different values. So you need to put them between the braces. For the range, I will pick up the y values, which are the second number. So 4, 0, -4, -8, and 12. So for now, that's all about domain and range.